It's time for us to go to the streets, and Theophilus Elamah is standing by there to let us know what Nigerians are saying regarding the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. Over to you now, Theophilus.
Mike and Kemi, like you can hear from behind me, the argument is heated here. Of course, diverse issues on the newspapers, and the reactions are quite, a lot of times hilarious, and of course a lot of times serious. But that's what you get at every newspaper stands in Lagos. Of course, we are in one of them in the city of Lagos. We'll start with the Nation newspaper here. It says 100% pay rise likely for striking varsity teachers. That's what the Nation is saying. Buhari may lead talks. Prolonged class boycotts dangerous to youth's future. NUC caution. That's in the Nation newspaper this morning. We'll look at the Guardian newspaper, of course. Stakeholders express caution over cautious optimism as NNPC transits. Stakeholders express cautious optimism as NNPC transits. That's in the Guardian newspaper this morning. Looking at the Daily Sun, it says 2023 can direct Christians and candidates to reject. Says every Nigerian has rights to individual religion. That's in the Daily Sun this morning. And the last but not the least newspaper, we look at the Punch newspaper. It says here, Osun governorship poll. Adeleke's camp worries over litigation, woos PDP faction. That's in the Punch newspaper this morning. So we're here. We're going to take reactions. Of course, the reactions are going on unabated as we are still talking on air. We're going to be taking reactions to the various issues in the newspapers this morning. So looking at these newspapers now, let's talk about ASUU strike in the Nation newspaper. What's your take on this?
Talk. On an ASUU strike? Yes. Now, what I'm talking about ASUU strike now for over 5 months now. Yeah. Now, nobody talk. But now, election is about to start. Election is about to start. They will come now and call us to make me, so that they can make use of them. Are you hearing me? They are calling us now to make mistake. For 5 months now, nobody has called them and asked, how are we going to make our children to go to? They are the future of Nigeria. Nigeria is good, it's them. They are all our politicians, all our leaders, their children is in abroad. How can, if the abroad people do strike for 5 months, will they keep their children in abroad? For 5 months. Now, because the election is at hand, everybody is trying to make Nigeria, make them to come back and start study. It's very weak, it's very bitter in the heart. Yes.
Okay, let's have more reactions to this discussion here. What do you think about this now?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this kind direction of Christians on candidates to reject. Now, as a matter of fact, the Muslim ticket or one faith ticket is really not an issue. We must focus on the economy. Because as a matter of fact, if somebody with a one faith ticket is very, very popular, he can really win an election. So that's not an issue. The issue is, let us focus on the economy. Now, for instance, let's judge by this way. 1999, we entered democracy. Good. Now, PDP was in power for 16 good years. If maybe PDP built, let's say, 16 cottage refineries, we wouldn't be importing fuel by now. If they have even gotten us, let's say, 32 megawatts of electricity, that's 2 megawatts per year, 32 megawatts. Our industries won't be relocating to Ghana by now. So if we judge by this parameter, they failed. Then APC came again. For 7 good years, they built on failure. So now what are we talking about? If you are talking of Muslim ticket and one Christian ticket, you are just wasting your time. What we are after is the candidate with that credibility, with that capacity to deliver Nigeria from this quagmire. And so Nigerians are looking for a third force.
You're saying that we must look at someone that will give us good governance.
Yes, we are looking for good people with credibility. We are looking for a third force whereby Nigerians with credibility comes together and build this nation.
All right. Let's have more reaction.
Concerning that, it's funny how Nigerians leave the real issue and just face some things that are not really meaningful to me. Because the same way the Christians are complaining that they have to be there, is the same way the traditionalists can come out and say they've not had any slots, that they should be the vice president. I think before being a Christian or a Muslim, you were first a Nigerian born, before you moving Christian. So we should be concerned about what will actually favor the Nigerians. Who is going to move Nigeria for? Either be it Christian, even if it's a traditionalist that do sacrifice, as long as it doesn't use human and it use animal, then you are good to go. We should be concerned about Nigeria itself and not Christian, Muslim. To me, it's just hypocrisy. What makes it different, even if it's a Christian or a Muslim and he gets there and doesn't do anything, and someone we did not expect, a pagan, comes in there and do something tangible? That's why I say it's funny how I just see it as a, will I say, wrong leadership if the kind are coming out to tell me you are a Christian. Is it that you don't believe in God choosing the right person to do the job?
All right, so let's have your reaction now to all of this issue.
My reaction on this will be on this ASUU thing. I'm always a little bit different. Politics is not what I just too much bang on. ASUU, I am appealing to every member of ASUU to consider the future of our children, because I don't think there's any professor, few of them, that are underpaid in Nigeria, that their children are schooling in Nigeria. And their children possibly might be schooling in private universities, even in Nigeria. But those of us that are just trying to survive, our children are schooling in government universities that have been at home for 5 months. We're appealing to them to come to compromise. Let's have an understanding. Let's strike a balance. You must not meet your demands at all times. There are some certain issues you have to compromise to be able to meet the futures of others. Nigeria is dying gradually with this kind of system that we're operating on. The government has to sacrifice, the masses has to sacrifice, every other party has to bring his or her efforts to move this country forward. If the professors, whoever that is involved in this ASUU thing, wants Nigeria forward, some of them actually got to where they are. Free education, they had free education, they went abroad on scholarship, they had a lot of things sponsored by this country. What are they giving back to the community? They are demanding, of course it's their right, but to a large extent they should be flexible. They should come to a point where Nigerians can benefit. We have a future dying. Every day, young men are graduating. Okay, now, a new section is on the way. By September, they should be expecting admission. Now, how do you cope? How do you cope? They will start rushing the students. At the end of the day, they graduate. The graduates will be quack students. They will be graduating quack professionals. So I am appealing to them, please. They should try as much as they can. Consider the students, consider Nigerians, and see what to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Of course, diverse reactions. Of course, for want of time, would have taken more. But of course, we have to end it here at this point. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for airing your views. Of course, their views have been quite heated even before we went on air. So thank you very much for talking to us on this. Over to the studio now, where Mike and Kemi will take it up from here.
All right, thank you very much, Theophilus, for taking us through that. We could hear the voices of people on the street.
Yeah, they're talking about they're talking about the economy failing, and then there are those people were really saying that this Muslim ticket, so-called, what does it do for us? Yeah. And I was musing here that all this noise made by some of these churches and CAN, they are veering into constitutional matters because this is a secular state. When you start insisting on a particular faith, you are actually violating the Constitution when you do that. And some of these churches, some of these pastors and churches are getting to a stage where they could fall foul of the law for what they are doing, because they are trying to bring a theocratic sentiment into the state, which is not what it's supposed to be.
It becomes even more challenging when members of senior members in the church who are even deacons, who are even different senior highly placed members in the church, church elders, belong to different political parties.
Yes,
you could see that deacons in some churches, amongst deacons, some are even card-carrying members, senior stalwarts in different political parties. And so when our pastor or reverend comes to tell us that we shouldn't go a certain way, and that is my political party, So how do you reconcile that?
Of course, and we all know how that eventually plays out, because yes, indeed, we are in the country where we give on what shouldn't be, so much powers or so much, we believe in our men and women of God as against the government. Well, I think that can be bottled down to the people we see as, influential. But while it is good that churches are guiding, so to speak, asking people to be more politically aware, as against, a docile a membership in the church who don't care, they just take what they see. But it's good to see that more and more people are getting more politically aware. But then there is a line that the clerics must not cross, so to speak. I think that's the consensus now, that do these religious bodies want to become a political party? If they do, let them leave the toga of the religious body that they claim they have and move on into the political sphere and go and play politics. But then if you want to be here, play by the rules, urge, guide, but don't tell your flock, who to vote for, because that will be crossing the line.
Well, if you want to follow the way it is done in a place like the US, then you have agenda. They have same-sex marriage, they have, they call it God, guns, and forgotten the one, the three G's. God, guns, and it has to do with abortion or something like that. So they have all of these issues that they say, this is the agenda of the church. What is the agenda of Nigerian church? Just Muslim. They're not talking about whether the people are stealing money, whether they want people who can do roads, who can do anything. They're not. The only time they made noise, the last time they made noise was about Sukuk loan. And they didn't see any Sukuk road and said, no member of our church should go through Sukuk funded road and Islamic banking. They didn't say that. So they only say one Muslim ticket, and that's the end of the issue. Is the Muslim ticket going to put food on your table? Is it going to make you a righteous citizen? Is it going to stop your people from stealing, from committing murder? It's not going to do that.
It draws attention to the realities. Now the point there is, I believe that circumstances like this will begin to create opportunities for the dialogue to begin to hold. Because the point there is, there are lots of debates on media and on different platforms at different levels now concerning this issue. Now, it actually doesn't make logical sense for us to say, no, we reject this whole thing in its entirety. You've not even understood the nitty-gritty of it, to look at the implications of it, and then create consciousness towards what is even better for the nation, as the case may be. Now, the point there is, this goes ahead to create the divide we're talking about. North-South divide, Christian-Muslim divide, Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo divide. We don't need all of those things. We've been together for more than 60 or about 60-something years. And as it is, for every year or every election cycle, we should be understanding each other better.
Yes.
We should be refining our relationships better.
Wasn't that the scripture that says, how good and how pleasant is it for brethren to dwell together in unity? Yeah, that's what it said.
And it's also been said over and over. It's also been said over that if one looks at this divide, these lines that we have invariably drawn, knowingly or unknowingly, it has further divided the country. I mean, year in, year out, we talk about enhancing unity and dialogue and all that, interfaith dialogue, interfaith unity and reconciliation. But then when we now come with this feeling of entitlement, we see how it further makes the other side speak. And we've seen Murek even coming out, that's the Muslim arm, also coming out to say, very invariably we interpret it to say that, okay, because the Christian body is speaking, then we too should speak. And then we've seen a defensive approach, from Murek. And how does that help issue-based campaigns? We'll soon get into, campaigns headlong.
Let them come with the agenda about righteousness.
Right.
Because that is the main purpose. The Bible says, fear God. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Say, fear God and keep his commandments, but this is the whole duty of man. That's what it says.
Exactly.
He didn't say that you should have Muslim ticket or Christian ticket. After all, when Moses was getting into trouble, he took a Gentile to come and help him. Who gave him decision? His in-law was the one that told him how to do his judgment. His in-law was not anointed; it was Moses. Was it not?
Well, the point there is we have to learn new ways of doing a lot of things, because we are talking about the future of Nigeria to the level where, like I said sometime, we want to see a situation where we can have Christian tickets, no wahala. We can have female tickets, no wahala. We want to have South tickets, no problem. Not tickets, no problem. That is the level of development that we're talking about, development of the mind, where it wouldn't even matter if the president and deputy or vice president even come from the same state.
Exactly.
So the point there is the agenda, the issues will be the one to guide, okay, this person you're bringing on board at this time, what is his or her pedigree?
Exactly. I'm just going ecclesiastical this morning. Look at Peter. Peter went to eat with Gentiles. But he became hypocritical when he saw James come, because James was a rigid man. And Peter said, and Paul said, you're not running away from the same Gentiles. You ate with them before.
But because you've seen your people.
Yes, because you've seen your people. And Paul said, there are no Jews and there are no Gentiles.
Right.
He said, don't you know that all those children that are born of Abraham, they are all children of Christ?
Okay, so Sam has stated where he stands. Sam has stated where he stands, and of course he has come down hard on the clerics who have also been outspoken on the issue. But I am for dialogue, and I hope that moving forward that we see more objectivity in the arguments being brought to play. And we've seen over and over again, especially in this particular calendar, political window now, that not everything has to be like, it is my turn, or it is a must I get it. There is the window of lobbying, there is the window of negotiation, not just bringing forth your demands and saying either this or none at all. So we really should be open.
To be more robust
we really should be open about
all right.
nationhood.
It's okay.